This is kind of one of those good examples of that. So the greater support for the general context would then go into the apostles' writings, because this is John who's actually doing the writing. So we would go over to other passages of scripture and kind of look how John uses these things. Well, you get over here in John chapter 13 and verse 10, this is basically the same word, and it says, Jesus said to him, he who is washed needs only, or bathed, needs only to wash his feet. Okay, now he's talking about somebody who's actually been washed. This is the terminology that he tends to use. And other authors also. So now we're looking at John's writings, but how do other authors actually relate to things like this? Let's look over in 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 11. So 1 Corinthians 6:11, and such were some of you, but you were washed. So it's not saying you were loosed, it's saying you were washed. So again, that would be one of the areas where we begin to understand, yeah, okay, we had a scribal error there. He's not adding something in. We also need to be cautious of harmonizing. Now, this is where we do tend to get into some value with our typical English versions. Because if you compare your English versions together, you will start to see some of them kind of add a few things in. They harmonize the stories. You know, it's like it's not in this one, but it's over in this other version. Well, it's because they're harmonizing them. That isn't part of the original. I saw a very interesting translation, absolutely horrid, but interesting in the sense is what they did was they took all of the Gospels and they basically combined them into one letter. Now, the problem with doing that is they missed a lot of content and they really began to change what Scripture was saying. Now, unfortunately, this was people who are supposed to be or perceived to be very wise men, philosophers, people who studied the word. And I don't remember all the terminology of the titles they gave themselves, but they had lots of titles. They were supposed to be smart guys. And I'm like, you guys can't see the problem with what you just did. You know, even in the English, we're not talking Greek, even in the English, if I were to take two accounts or three accounts of something that happened and then try to merge them together into one account, I'm going to run into some conflicts. I'm going to have to leave some things out.